Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 5th of June, and well, we just continue that nice little ride here. It's just been a slow, steady increase. We had that brief period where we had the pop of the plus 13.5, but a complete reset of both short-term, mid-term buyers allowed that to just be overwhelmed very quickly, and we saw that we had an immediate dip right below the orange below the red line here, which is an indication of the next buy run. And that's what we've sort of experienced. Now, we've gotten a bit overbought. That's going to have to ease back. So we're probably going to pull back into this previous trade, but that doesn't do anything other than buy time. And now we're reaching, again, the next set of inflows for fund money in that. So could see a nice little continuation move from this. NASDAQ, obviously, new highs. It's just... well, there's two items. You've got nowhere else to put the money, which is something we've been talking about for the last, 8-9 years since quantitative easing started. There's no seemingly likelihood that that's going to really change. Growth numbers, while decent, are not spectacular, and there's been no change in any of the proposed economic plans on the congressional or presidential side. So the general bias, though, is still going to be to the upside simply because you can't change the fact that there's no other place to get yield, and until that changes, this is where you have to go. The euro being brought back up into the mid-range actually helps the S&P, and that's going to continue to fuel things. The bizarre one is this, because the reality is unless the Fed freezes and doesn't raise rates, this makes little sense, but it's also an indication that there's some flight to safety, which is just a ridiculous concept at this point, but okay. Oil, OPEC is a disaster. I think it's just going to indicate that they don't have any answer whatsoever to the shale situation, and that's going to reform energy prices for a time to come. Whether we dip below the baseline is unlikely, but again, until we see some kind of economic resurgence, that is really going to be the only thing that affects supply at this particular point, and it's been a problem. And this inability to get the economic engine rolling worldwide really is problematic. Now, gold acting like a nice safe haven for potential negative adverse effects, and what we're not seeing in volatility, you're getting replaced here, plus a lot of central bank purchases. We've come back up to that peak period from here, and a little drawdown. We had a nice buy signal that came in way back, and then subsequent ones with the dips below, and we've just been in nothing but a rising tide from there, and expect that to continue. The anomaly one is the treasuries. That's the interesting divergence. From a 5K standpoint, you can see how beautiful that chart is. We had the beautiful reset right here, and I mean, if we look at that close value right there, 24.29, has taken it all the way up to, we got up to just about 40 up here. The high was 39.75 and retraced a little bit, but we're still on pace to get very close to that 24.50, just like we've been looking for quite some time. So that's all good news. Relatively benign trading so far, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. Again, some of these short moves and that took place the other day and that were quick, say with the buyback, and because of that, you've got to be prepared to go with what the readings are. You can see that we've reached all these peaks here on the 5K above the 13.5, and we really didn't change much from price there, even though we came down each one of those peaks. Really had support just below the ABM green, and every time we moved right back above it. So easy pivot points from that standpoint. We had a similar thing happen at the open of pre-market faded, and now we're working our way back. We still don't have the orange dipping below, and in this case, if the steel stays above, any pop would be likely short-lived and would be likely to fade again. So we may see the lows retested here again before everything's said and done. As always, look for me on the Skype chat. Trade well.